Hello, everybody. It is Monday afternoon in the villages, and here we are doing music and sandbagging our homes. No, it's not quite that bad yet, although it might be. Now, I love this song. I had a good time with this song. We're going to learn some stuff about our organs. Stuff about our organs. So, I did do a sheet. Now, remember, you don't need everything on here. You don't need anything on here if you don't want. And I'm adding some extra notes, and we're going to find out how to do some fun stuff like how to alter the tone of your guitars. Ooh. And even though you might not like how it sounds in the song, I'm also giving you a backup sound. So if you don't like what I did, and basically I did it so that you can learn how to put sound effects on your instruments so they sound like underwater guitars, okay? Because if you listen to the original, it has some underwater guitars in the background of the first verse. I'm also doing the chorus girls. Ooh, I'm going to put those in for you, and extra chords, so we're going to have a good time with this song. This was a song written by Canadian singer-songwriter Paul Anka. His version was recorded in August of 1958, but not released as a single until August of 1959. I wonder why. It reached number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100, kept out of first place by Bobby Darin's Mac the Knife. So Mac the Knife was in first place, and then this one was in second. A lot of great songs out at that time. The Letterman made it popular a second time in 1968, 9 years later, and it peaked at number 8 on the easy listening charts. Other songs by Paul Anka, just so you know: Diana, Lonely Boy, Having My Baby. I mean, this guy had decades, not just years, but decades of songwriting successes. He also wrote, now here's some stuff for your trivia, the theme song for The Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson. Did you know that? That's Paul Anka's, one of his compositions. And Tom Jones's hit, She's a Lady. That's a Paul Anka composition as well. And he also put in the English lyrics to Frank Sinatra's My Way. Very interesting. He also co-wrote 3 songs, this really surprised me, with Michael Jackson. Yeah, so this guy he's been around, he's done a lot of stuff, and this was one of his big songs, Put Your Head on My Shoulder. And what am I using for rhythms? Well, the one I'm using is ballad, no variation, 50s love songs. But I am using an alter style, so it's going to be sounding like this. Now, everybody can get this background. Oh, let's see, where's the best? Now, why am I doing the alter style? Without the alter style, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, okay. With the alter style, it puts that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 up an octave. Hear it? Okay, so that's going to be the basis for our song. If you've got a smaller instrument, if you're on easy 4, it's going to be rock pianist. Otherwise, it's going to be ballad. You can also use Wonderful World, which is ballad full band, at 72 beats per minute. This is at 72. Or basic ballad also works. So you've got lots of choices on here. But it's that 50s, 1959, basic 50s background. I told you I was going to do some underwater guitar stuff. So how did I do that? Maybe I should just play it first. Ooh, cool stuff. Hear it?
Yeah, that's a neat sound.
There's some neat sounds. And if you go back and listen to Paul Anka's original version, that first verse, in the background, there are these underwater guitar sounds. Now, it's very hard to do melody in one and other stuff in another hand while you're trying to do chords. So I'm going to give you a choice. For the first verse, which happens to be the first 8 measures of the song, you can play the melody on the underwater guitar sounds, and I'm going to show you how to do that when we're done playing it. Or if you don't like that, you don't like them, you can learn how to do them just because it's kind of fun to learn. Use your bottom sound, which is that 50s saxophone, and that works just as well. Then when we get to the second verse, now I'm going to add, I'm using a 70s piano. Oop. But I'm adding some chorus girls. Oh, Freddie's coming back in. I'm adding the chorus ladies so that you can do the woo, woo, woo. You can add all that stuff, and I'm going to show you what notes to add for that.
Dawn?
Yes?
Excuse me. So you're doing 50s love ballad. So are you having vintage on?
Yes, but you're going to put the altar style on. Put your altar style on. Turn your Orchestra Plus off. And yes, I have everything on a sheet. So if you need your sheet like now, after class, go ahead and email me and I'll make sure you get it scanned to you. Or if you can wait until Robert gets it up on Patreon, go ahead and do that. But I like this arrangement. And sometimes I surprise myself. I even like my own arrangements.
Dawn, I have a question.
Yeah.
You said the second verse, there is no second verse.
Yes, second verse is the second 8 measures. You're thinking of repeating. Verse 1, repeat, go back to verse 2. Verse 2 is actually put your lips close to mine.
Oh, okay.
I consider that second verse.
Okay.
Okay? All right. So if you want to use an intro, you can either just start with a chord. Now, here's something. What key are we in?
F.
F, yes, we're in the key of F. Now, D minor happens to be that first chord there. D minor and F are relatives. Okay, what does that mean? The F major scale, whoops, let's get a different sound here. Has one black note in it. Now, the D minor scale starts on the D, but it's the same scale. It's got the same B flat in it, so that's why they're called relatives. So the D minor and the F are relative scales, and a lot of times you will start with the minor and end with the major. That happens a lot. As far as which one to start with, you really have to try them both and see what works. In this case, in my opinion, the F chord works the best, the F major chord. So you want to just put a little note, intro in F. And I'm going to use intro 2. You can use whichever one you want. Oops, you got it started first. There it is. There it is.
I did.
Sounded very good.
Okay. All right. Now, those guitars, you either loved them or you hated them.
No,
Okay. When you had these, you either loved them or you hated them. If you hated them, you could go ahead and just use that lower keyboard and it's going to sound fine. That's going to sound fine too. So you can use that saxophone if you didn't like the guitars. Now, what I want you to do though is learn how to do that, so that if you ever find that you're needing underwater guitars again, you can fix them up. Well, how do you make that sound? Because there is nothing in here called underwater guitars. There's no sound. If you go into your sounds, your geniuses, there's no sound. Okay, so basically I am on rhythm preset number 1. And number 1 gives me a 50s guitar up here. Okay, so what's your 50s guitar? You're having, if you take a look, one of your sounds up in your red section or your orchestral section, going to the upper is a jazz guitar. And that is combined with your upper sound or genius on your tab, which is a guitar electric strat. And the combination of those two sounds gives you that really nice 50s guitar. Here's what it sounds like with just the jazz guitar. Oops, what happened? I lost him. That's the jazz guitar. There's the electric strat guitar. But the combination of the two just gives a very strong guitar. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some effects on both the guitars and then put them together and see what happens. So how do I find those? Because there's, like I said, if I scroll, there's nothing in here that says FX. Although you can find some that are, you know, kind of goofy in here that you can find. But let's just take the guitars that we have. And you're going to go into your feature, all right, and scroll until it says effects, not lower sound effects, but effects. And then you'll see Orchestra 1 is on, Orchestra 2 is on, and there's a distortion. It says distortion if you're by your organ. Distortion is not what we want. So what I'm going to do for Orchestra 1, which is where the one that I'm working with, I am going to scroll. Let's turn this one off, okay? Now we're going to scroll and it says rotary. Oh, interesting. Scroll again and it says chorus. A little bit of motion. Scroll again and it says ensemble. It just sounds like there's a lot of them. Number 2, Celeste. Doesn't do much for me. Phaser. Kind of like phaser. Hear it? Yeah. And then a flanger, which is close. It just does it a little differently. I opted for phaser on this guy, so that when you played it, hear it? Yeah. It gave you some effects on your guitar. Well, I'm going to turn him off, and I'm going to go to the other one, the electric strat. And I'm going to go into effects, and he is not, and you're still there, he's not the orchestral. You have to go to the upper genius. It says U-Gen, upper genius. Now on the bigger organs it might say upper tab or upper sound. And it says chorus. We're going to change it to tremulant. Tremulant. Okay? See how strange that is? Wow. That sounds like he's underwater. And then I'm going to combine it with my phaser. Ooh. And and I'm playing some of the, I'm strumming the guitar. I'm adding the extra guitar notes, and all those are notes in the chord, and I'm not putting it on all of the notes, just on some of them, and then you roll from the bottom up. So I'm using several techniques. And some of you are going to say, yuck, I hate how it sounds, and you're just going to go to the bottom and just play the saxophone and play it straight. You might want to put in a grace note or two, or a glide or two, but that's about it. Keep it simple. So all this is doing is teaching you how to use some of these things in your organ that you paid for and you didn't know what they were for. And it's kind of fun to just research and see what your organ can do for you. So that's your underwater guitar effect. Pretty cool. Pretty cool.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah. And then when I went to the second verse, all right, so that's A1. That's A1 right at the beginning of your song. A2 is going to start line 3, the end of the second measure. You're going to do a no chord and put A2. So you're going to do a no chord and then go to A2. You can either touch it, or I was using my foot, which is why you didn't see me doing anything. And now I'm going to, whoops, I got to get back on my, a 70s, I'm using a 70s piano. How do you get to that? Well, if you're on 50s Love Ballad, it's going to be rhythm preset or vintage number 5. I'm always starting with something easy. Something easy. So I'm starting with the 70s piano, and I'm going to add some vocals. And I tried all kinds of different vocals, and we're actually going to add the vocal tab, and we are going to add one of your geniuses. You're going to change that saxophone to a, what am I using there? Choir Utopia. It's in the extras. Number 297. It's all here. It's all on here. And you're going to combine that with your 70s piano. I tried to actually put the choir on the bottom and the piano on top. The problem was I couldn't play the solo singer and the chorus at the same time without having them on the same keyboard. My hands aren't big enough to do that. So I am adding those extra notes. But I can do it if I keep it on the same keyboard.
Dawn,
Yeah.
are you going to have all those extra notes written down there?
I am going to tell you what they are. Yeah.
You got a lot of extra
I will
notes.
tell you what they are. Okay.
Okay.
That's for verse 2. That starts in the middle of the third line. Now, you're going to play that until you get to the bridge, which is the second page, page 215, line 2, end of the second measure. You're going to put A3. And what happens in A3? Your singers are doing bop, 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 bop. They're actually doing bop, 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 bop. But to do that no chord in between there is not going to really work, because that's what they're doing. Bop, 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 bop. And I couldn't get that effect right, so I just put them in there. Bop, 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 bop. Now, how did I do that? It's in the background. Oh, so how do you put them in the background? Well, first of all, I'm going to put it in my lower genius. I'm going to put in the chord. So I'm putting in one set of singers just doing ba or da. I think they're doing da. And then I'm going into the edit style. Yeah. And you go into the edit style. And what was doing the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 before? What was doing that before? Piano, right? Okay. So now I'm going to find that piano, which is in your basic or your genie. And you're going to go to edit style, and you're going to touch it. and you're going to scroll until you get to vocal ba. Vocal ba. You don't need to take notes, it's all here. Vocal ba. And then put some more vocals down here so that when you get to the bridge, alter style comes off and you're just going. Okay. So you've got those two sets of singers going in the background. And then I took the singers from up here, turned them off. So we're just going to do the 70s piano for the bridge, which is people will say. So that's A3. Line 2, end of the second measure, A3. Then that's going to go until the last line on that page, end of the first measure. Now you're going to put no chord, A4. Because now you're going back to put your head on my shoulder. Basically, I'm just going to do cut and paste. And that's all on here too. Then when you get to the end of the second line on the last page, you're going to put A5. Now what happens in A5? Did anybody catch it? I'm going to play the second line and then go into A5.
Transpose.
Transpose. Good ears.
Oh,
Yes.
oh.
Yes. So I'm transposing. I'm using the same stuff. I'm just transposing it up one. Transposing it up one. Yeah, Freddie, I've seen you had some problems. I keep letting you in. Why do you keep getting kicked out? Technology. What a wonderful thing, right?
Yeah, my camera was out of whack.
Oh, boy.
I had
Did
to
I
reload
hear you add some notes
I had to
there?
reload my camera.
Oh, okay. Yes, you did, Sue. I am adding extra notes. I have not put those in yet, okay? We're going to add extra notes. We're going to add some chords. But does everybody now have, except for possibly Freddie, all of the changes?
Dawn, was the last change A5 on the beginning of the third line?
Yep. End of line 2, beginning of line 3.
Right, okay. All
Yep.
right.
Yep.
Thank you.
And all you're doing is transpose up one. And if you put it on a preset, all you got to do is kick your foot and it goes. Okay? All right, very cool. Let's add some chords because guess what? There's no roadmap, so you don't need any of these today. I find it easier, though, to take that third page and print it out so that you've got your 3 pages. That way you don't have to worry about flipping pages. Okay? Let's take a look at the chords. Now remember, everything I do for chords 100% optional, and there's nothing truly hard in anything that I'm doing today. I'm just adding a few things. The very first, D minor. If you wish, you can make it a D minor add 9. D minor add 9, ADD 9. It is a 3-fingered chord. Let's turn this off and just put on easy. And it is D, dinosaur, E, elephant, and F, fish. Okay, now if you look at the note in the right hand, it's an E. That is your 9th. So if you just want to play D minor, the 9th is actually going to be in your right hand, but it makes it sound a little bit more interesting if you just also add it in your left hand. So D, E, F, D minor, add 9. It'll say it in your window. For 2 counts. Beat 3 over the D. Now go back to a plain old D minor. D and F. The G minor, you may put a 7 on it, which would be F as in fish, gorilla, G, and B flat, flat butterflies, or just leave it as a regular G minor. You're going to find that this is real typical 1950s chord pattern. It's a 4-chord chord pattern. And then your C7. The F, D minor, leave it plain old D minor in line 2. The G minor in line 2, you may put a 7 on it, back to a C7. There it is. There's your 4-chord chord pattern. Then F, D minor, 3rd line, G minor, you may put a 7 on that one, C7. Then it goes back to the F, and that's where you end the first verse. All right, the last line on that page, the
Dawn?
D minor, go ahead.
Did you have a no chord in there at that line?
Yes. Yes, the no chord goes on put your lips close to mine. Just like you have it at the beginning,
Oh.
put your head on my.
Okay, so it's in the rest of the 3rd line. It's at the last measure. It's not in the beginning, the no chord.
Yeah, you want to put it at the beginning of that last measure. Not at the beginning of the line, no.
Right.
No, you put it, I do the no chord, and then go to it. I'm on A1. Then I do a no chord right here, kick to A2. And when I kick to A2, I'm still on a no chord. So that entire measure gets played on a no chord.
Okay.
Okay, your D minor on line 5. That very first one you can put an add 9, ADD 9, which is D, E, and F for 2 counts. And then over the D, beat 3, go back to a plain old D minor. Measure 2, the G minor, you may put a 7 on it if you wish. No more changes on that page. Let's go to the top of the 2nd page. G minor, you may put a 7 on that. And in the 3rd measure of the top line, you may put a 7 on that G minor. It's that same chord pattern. D minor, G minor 7, C7, back to the F. 2nd line, no changes. 3rd line, no changes. 4th line, no changes. 5th line, here we go, because now we're going back to the verse. At the beginning of that 2nd measure, you're going to put a no chord. That's when you go to A4. Same thing. You do a no chord, go to the next preset, and you're still on the no chord for when you play those notes. And then you get to the D minor at the end of the page, make it a D minor, add 9. Just add that E. D, E, F for 2 counts. Then over the D, beat 3, put a plain old D minor, D and F. You see the repetition here? The bridge is the only one that really was different, and we didn't do any changes to it. Top of the 3rd page. Make that G minor a G minor 7. Now that's optional if you wish. Measure 3, you also have a G minor. You may put a 7 on that one. 2nd line, 2nd measure, you may put a 7 on that G minor. Okay, now at the end of the line, you've got an F chord. Beat 3, you're going to put a B flat, butterfly flat, and beat 1 of the next line, which is over that rest, you're going to put an F, and that's where you're going to kick to A5. Now, if you can't do it that fast, you want to play that F chord and then kick, because you're going to have some right hand notes that I'm going to give you.
Dawn,
Yes?
then do you want A5 at the end of line 2 or before?
Yeah,
we
it doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really needs to be after the F, but what I did is I actually wrote the F in at the end of line 2.
Oh, okay.
So even though it is it's the first beat of the next measure, and if you want, you could actually put in a whole measure, but you don't have to do that. And if you accidentally kick it too fast and you play the F on the transpose, who cares? It's not that big of a deal.
Okay.
It's not that big of a deal. But because I'm playing tell me that you love me too. So yeah, you want to maybe want to finish the phrase, because what you're doing is an echo. Tell me that you love me too. And then transpose. And if you transpose a little bit earlier than that, who cares? Not a big deal.
Is that where you transpose up?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. So that whole last part, put your head on my shoulder, is on a transpose.
Okay.
Now, if you also wanted to do a no chord there, you could. But it's now you're talking about this, too many things going on at once. So just play it on the F chord. It's fine.
Yeah.
Third line, second measure. Make that D minor a D minor, add 9, just like you did before. D, E, and F, real easy. And then 2 beats later on that D for dur, put a plain old T minor. You may put a 7 on the G minor right next door. Fourth line, second measure. You may put a 7 on that G minor. End of the song, last line, you may put a 7 on that G minor. And then the F at the end, you may make it an F major 7, E and F. So the chords, not hard at all. And if you just play the ones that are there, they'll sound fine. Okay, now the extra notes. Yeah, the extra notes.
Dawn, could I ask you a question quick?
Yes, you may. Go
On the
ahead.
last page, third line, second measure,
Mhm.
over the E, the D minor, you made it a D minor 9.
Add 9, not a
Add
9, a D minor, add
Okay.
9.
Yeah, okay.
What's the difference? What's the difference? An add 9 is just D minor, D and F, and adding the E, 3 fingers. If it was a D minor 9, you would also add the 7, and then it's a hanging chord, and you don't want it to be a hanging chord. You don't want the 7. You just want the 9. Okay?
Yes.
So yeah. So a D minor, add 9, 3 fingers. D minor 9, you have to also play the 7, so now it's a 4-fingered chord.
Okay, thanks.
So we're not doing the hard one. We're just doing an add 9.
Okay.
Good call. Good call. Okay. Guitar strums. I think I'm going to skip those because I have a feeling most of you are going to end up playing the saxophone at the beginning on verse 1. If you have questions, go ahead and email me and let me know. Okay, if you need to have some of those, you don't do it on all of the notes, only some of them. And where are you getting the extra notes from? The chord, the left-hand chord. You just pull those notes out and then you strum bottom up.
Oh.
All right, let's go to line 4.
On what page?
First page,
Oh,
page 214. Once you get it the first time, it is the same all the way through. Okay? Put your lips close to mine, dear. Ooh, 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 ooh. Okay, so right after the dear, you're going to put a C. Now you have to write kind of small. A C note on the 3rd space. Go up to an E on the 4th space. Go back down to a C on the 3rd space. Go back up to an E on the 4th space. And then the first beat of the next measure, which is where you have that rest, put a D on the 4th line. and then over the B flat for the word kiss, that's beat 3. Over that B flat, you're going to put a sharp C, sharp chicken. All right, now what are the note values?
Wait a minute, Don, I'm lost there. Where,
You lost? I'm in the first 2 measures of the last line on page 214. In
oh, okay.
measure 1, right after the D, you're going to have a C on the space right underneath it, but you're going to write 4 notes in that little space after the D. Okay? C, E,
Okay.
C, E. And then beat 1 of measure 2, which is where that rest is, you're going to put a D, dinosaur, on the 4th line. And technically that's a half note. And then over the B flat for the word kiss, you're going to have a C sharp or a sharp C over the B flat. Now, your note values for that first C, just an 8th note. The ECE, that's a triplet. That's an 8th note triplet. So you can put stems on all of them, and then connect the ECE and put a little 3 under it. So it's C, make it an 8th note. The ECE, make it a triplet, 8th note triplet, and then the D is technically a half note, and the C sharp is technically a half note. Now, you have to play that at the same time you're playing all these other notes. It's not that hard. You can do it. So it's going to come out like this. So the only time you're playing 2 notes at the same time is the B flat and the C sharp. And the fingering that I give you later, is not including those extra notes. You're going to have to figure out your own fingering on those. Okay. Any questions on that?
Dawn, on that C sharp over the B flat,
Correct.
you were holding that, you said, as a half note, that,
Correct.
and then you're using the rest of your fingers to do the quicker 8th notes there.
Correct. That is
And then
correct.
The last
Yeah.
one, quarter note. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Same thing
You're-
with the D half note. You're going to hold the D, and you're going to play the B flat and the C underneath it.
Right.
That's the only way I could get that whole thing to sound, because to play the solo guy and the chorus girls, I had to put them close together so my fingers could reach, and so this is what I came up with. And it works pretty well.
It sounds beautiful.
Dawn,
That's why
Yes?
on the 4th line, first measure, it was mine, dear, ED, and you said C, ECE.
Yes.
Where does the C go after the over deer? The D?
Right after the D. You're
Yes.
going to play deer, then you're going to play the C.
Where,
Then you're
where
going to
is
play
that?
East. Let me see. I don't know if I wrote this dark enough for you guys to see. I kind of scribbled it in. All right. Basically, what I did is when I was doing it, I wrote them up here.
Oh, yeah.
But
yeah.
this is technically how to write it.
Oh, okay, that's where, oh, I see.
Da 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 da.
That's what I did. Okay.
Da. Okay. See,
Yep.
I scribble mine on top when I'm going fast, and then I wrote them in.
So that C would be a half note? That first C?
No, that first C
After the
is an
D?
8th note. That
It is an
first
8th
C,
note? Okay.
that first C is an 8th note. Whoop! I'm losing all my
C,
stuff
E,
here.
C, E. Okay.
Losing all my
All
stuff.
right.
Ah! I'm losing my stuff. Okay. That's all right. I'll find it and figure out where it goes later.
Yeah, I think
Okay,
I-
now you've got to have that right because you're going to repeat it 100 times in this song.
Right.
Right, exactly.
All right, so any questions on C, E, C, E, D, C sharp? Got it?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now, end of that page, the last measure, baby. Now you're going to copy what you just did. C, E, D at the top of the page, and then over the B flat for kiss, C sharp. The exact same phrase. Won't you kiss me once? Whoops. So it's there again. Baby, ooh. Okay? So that phrase repeats. The CECE is at the end of the page. The top of page 215 in the rest. You want to put the D on the fourth line. Half note. And then over the B flat for kiss, put a C sharp. And those are that's the only time you play the two together. But you do have to, it's basically counterpoint. You got one line going and another line going, and you put them together.
Mhm. Mhm.
All right, top line measure 2. Maybe. Now you're not going to do the whole thing. You're going to do the C, E, C, E, just like you did. The C eighth note, E, C, E, your triplet. And then in the first beat of the next measure, where that half or where that quarter rest is, you're going to put a D. That's a half note, but then you're going to drop it. You're not doing the C sharp this time. No C sharp. You're just doing C, E, C, E, D. No C sharp. So that whole thing, starting at put your lips close to mine. Okay, just the D. Now, when you get to line 2, you're going to hold the word love. And yeah, my fingering's going to go all out the window because now you're going to write and you can do it with one finger or two. You and I will fall in love. And you can do it in 2 fingers if you want.
So that's after the F.
That's after the F. Now, what are those notes?
Yeah, what are those notes?
Okay. C, C.
C on the,
C is in chicken on the 3rd space.
okay.
Now, that's in that first half of the measure. And underneath the B flat, you're going to do D, 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 D.
Holy crow, I don't know where you are.
I am in line 2, first measure.
Okay. Oh,
So
I understand.
You're gonna,
C, C, and under the where the F is, you're going to do C, C. And mine's kind of a mess here because I actually was writing in my words, and then I C, C, D, 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 C. Then this F here, you're going to do a D and a C. So you're holding this F,
B and a C.
okay? And then you're going to go C, C, and then under the B flat is a D, 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 4 of them. And then you're going to do one more D under this F, and then move it down to a C.
right.
Got it?
Uh-huh.
Now, if you want, you can put the notes underneath it. A, B flat, B flat, B flat, B flat, B flat, A. But if you've got it on duet, it's going to be on duet, so you don't need to put that there.
Oh, okay.
You can just play those top notes.
Oh, But if you wanted to play them
Sure.
anyhow.
And that's the words. You and I will fall in love.
Dawn, what are the notes in the first measure below the B flat where it's D, 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 D? What are the
B
notes?
flat. Then those notes are B flat right underneath the D.
Okay, those
So
are
it's
all B flats.
Under the C, it's an A. Under the D, it's a B flat.
Dawn,
Yeah.
it's Sherry. Okay, I'm confused.
Okay.
I have the bottom of page of the first page.
Uh-huh.
Okay, an E. Then there's the D where we put a DM. Then you have CE, CE.
Mm-hmm.
First rest is the D.
Correct.
The C sharp, is it over the first B flat or was it the second B flat? where
Second B
the-
flat. Yes.
Oh, then I
Yes.
did it right. Thank
See?
you.
See?
It was an accident.
You got it.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay. Any questions about what we just did? Because that's your ooh, 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 ooh. That's your chorus, girls. That's what really makes this song a little bit more advanced. I think it makes the song.
It
Yeah.
does.
Dawn, I have a question.
Go ahead.
Okay, on line 2, after the F chord, you playing the F note, and then you playing C as in cat, and then
Yes.
D, 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 D as in dogs.
You play two C's.
Yeah,
Oh.
C,
CC,
Right.
U and CC, and then 4 Ds. Under the B flat, you do 4 Ds.
Right.
I will fall in. Those are the
And
words.
then
You
another
and
D.
I will fall in. And then you get to that F chord in the next measure, and it's a D, C. Love.
Okay, thank you.
C,
got it.
C, D, 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 C.
That does make a difference.
Okay. Now, for the bridge, no changes. Your changes are all done in the background. There's your singers. You just play. Pretty easy, right? You just play what's there. The bridge is the easy part.
Mhm.
Now we get to the bottom of the page. Put your head on my shoulder, and there at the bottom, the last measure after the word der, shoulder. Now you want to do this again. C, E, C, E. Right? Your eighth note, then your triplet, E, C, E. And at the top of the next page, D on the fourth line, exactly the same that we did. And the second B flat, beat 3, put a C sharp. The exact same thing we did over here. That's why I said you got to get it right here, because I'm going to repeat it again.
Yep.
Now, keep going. Top line. Second measure, baby. When you've got that low D, you're going to copy what you did over here. C, E, C, E, but you're still on that upper C. Okay, the third space for the C and the fourth space for the E. C, E, C, E. Last measure of the top line, where that rest is, D on the fourth line as a half note. And then over the B flat for the word want, put a C sharp as another half note. Okay, exactly what we did before. That's why you had to have it right over here, and you're going to copy it exactly the same over here. Got it? All right, now let's go to the next line. Tell me. Tell me. First measure. After that D, you're going to do a C, E, C, E, and then in measure 2, oh my goodness, somebody's got to do some exercising here. Look at that. I'm sorry. You have to look at that. All right, then you're going to put a D on the fourth line. And no C sharp this time. Remember, we didn't do it over
Right.
here. No C sharp.
well, hold on, Dawn. You
Second
said
line.
the second line, the first measure, you put the
Correct.
C, E, C, E.
Correct.
And Where does the D go over
The
the
D
under?
goes in the second measure where the rest is.
Yep. And then,
Yep, but no C sharp.
right, okay.
You're just going to play the D and then play the rest of the notes.
Yeah.
At the end of the line, I told you to put in that B flat note, but before you get to the B flat note, you're going to do exactly what you did on page 2, second line.
Oh, I thought you said B flat.
Your B flat is a chord,
Right.
okay? And before you get to that B flat, you're going to go C, C, still on the F chord.
Oh,
And then
okay.
for the B flat chord, you're going to have 4 Ds, D, C, C, D, 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 D. And then for the F, you're going to go D, C. And that's technically, that's in the rest here. But you got to kick immediately. You might not get all those notes in because you got to kick immediately to go to that transpose so you put your head on my shoulder. So if you miss a couple of those notes, no biggie. No biggie.
So you've got in that last measure there in the second line. So
Mhm.
you've got the F chord and the F note, and then you have the
C,
C,
C.
C,
No, do the C's first. C, C.
Yeah. okay.
Then when you have the B flat chord, underneath the B flat, you're going to have 4 D's in a row. D,
Oh,
D,
oh.
D, D.
Right. Yes, right. I get it. I remember. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
Same thing.
I was
And the
doing that
last
C,
2
E,
notes, if
you
you don't
don't-
get the last 2 notes, don't worry about it. If you just get the F chord, kick, and go.
Don, I have a question for you real quick.
Yeah.
Would that be a good place to put a little fill in when you're gonna hit that kick?
You don't have enough time
Okay, okay. I don't have
unless
music in front of me.
you
That's
want
why.
to add a whole nother measure. Now, if you want to add a whole nother measure, that's your prerogative. Then you could put in a fill in, but you're going to have to add a whole nother measure because you don't have time between you and I will fall in love, put your head on, and then that's where you
I see.
transpose.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I don't have music in front of me, so thank you.
Okay. Now, third line. We're on the transposition. Put your head on my shoulder. Measure 2. Right after that D, you're going to do it again. C, E, C, E. Third measure, you've got to put a D on the 4th line. Ooh, C, E, C, E, D. And then over that second B flat, the 3rd beat, put a C sharp.
C sharp, yeah.
See, we're just repeating everything.
Mm-hmm.
Once you get it the first time, it just repeats. 4th line, baby, do it again. C, E, C, E, D in the second measure, C sharp in beat 3.
Getting good at that.
At the end of line 4, baby, C, E, C, E. Bottom line, D on the 4th line, and that's it. Don't do a C sharp again. Now, I'll give you a little bit of time to write that in.
And that in the 4th line,
Uh-huh.
the last measure is you do it again there.
Yes, C,
All
E,
the-
C, E. And then
Oh.
the last line, D. D in the first measure, but no C sharp. Because now you're just going to play, put your head on my shoulder. But now the oohs are going to come in again. Now, you can slow this whole thing down and play those the way you want, but your notes that you're going to play are C, E, C, E, C, A, C, A. So no D in this time. C, E, C, E, C, A, C, A. Okay, and you slow everything down and you're going to do a fade out. So that's going to sound at the end like this. Let's see, what one am I on? 5. C, E, C, E, C, A, C, A. Just play them at your own speed. Okay, we did a lot with this one. We're actually over time. Did you know that?
Dawn, a
Yeah.
quick question. Oh, on the fourth line, the very last measure, are you putting after that D a C, E, C, E again?
Yes, the very last measure. You're doing a C, E, C, E, D on the first measure of the bottom line. No
Yeah.
C sharp that time.
Okay, and what's the tempo? Because I had to run away.
Tempo is 72.
Thank you.
Yep, 72.
Thank you.
I
Okay.
think we ought to practice for a week doing one hand and then another week doing the left hand and then the third week putting it together.
Well, this is supposed to be an advanced class.
I know.
So, and I like this song. You can tell when I really get into a song because all of a sudden I do extra silly things. And I ran out of time because as you can imagine, we had Dennis Off and Diane last week.
They
And
were great.
Yeah, but I will tell you, because I spent time on this, I don't have the rest of my week done yet.
Well, this one,
Getting a hurricane, you're gonna get excused for this week.
Oh, thank you. I got a hurricane coming in.
Stay safe
Yeah.
down there, you guys. All kidding aside. Everybody be safe and make sure you unplug your organs. We don't want to hear nobody's organ got fried.
Yep, that's always what you do in a thunderstorm. We got lots of lightning down here, so that's the first thing we all do when we have a lightning storm, even if it's not a hurricane. Yep. All right, so I do have fingering for those of you who need it, but I will tell you this. If you're adding the extra notes, my fingering doesn't really help. Okay? So if you need it, I can give it to you. If you don't need it, if you're going to put the extra notes in, it's not that hard. Putting in the extra notes and figuring out which fingers are going to go where, that's up to you. That is up to you. Because there's nothing hard about this fingering until you get to the two things put together. Okay?
Next week.
Next week, you know what? I'm thinking about skipping Rainbow Connection. You know why? I just did it 3 times.
yeah.
we did it in level 3. We did it in level 4. So we've done it a couple times. So
Yeah.
if you need it, you can go to my Friday level 3 class and find it on Patreon. It is there. I'm not really doing anything extra to it. Let's go to rainy days and Mondays. Okay?
Good. Yep.
Do I have any objections? I hope not.
Oh, not
And I
All
love
in
the
favor,
song.
say aye.
I love the
All-
song, but we've done it. We've already done it a couple of times. All right, so we'll do rainy days and Mondays.
Good.
Very cool. If you need fingering, do stick around. Although, like I said, it's not gonna help you that much. But I enjoyed this arrangement a lot. I truly enjoy Paul Anka's work. He does some fabulous things, and looking forward to what we do next week. All right. Now
Yeah.
Wednesday. Watch your emails because chances are we will have class. But then again, if this hurricane starts moving faster than they're projecting, I may not be able to get out of my house.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be safe, first of all.
Yeah, that's always the first thing. Yeah, if they're going to just shut off the electricity on me anyway, I might as well just stay home. So it really depends on where this thing goes. Okay, so I have a feeling Thursday for sure is going to be out, but only thing I have in Thursday is my in-store classes. I do have 4 of those, and I have a feeling nobody would want to come out in this thing anyway. So, because we're going to get a lot of rain that day for sure. For sure. Wednesday, I just don't know what's going to happen yet. So just watch your emails. And if you happen to click on and 10 minutes goes by and no Dawn, you know that the hurricane blowed her away. You guys are awesome. Stick around if you need fingering. The rest of you, thank you so much. We'll see you all next week once we dry out. Here we go. The rest of you get your pencils out.
Bye-bye.
Bye. A1, B flat 2, C3, A1, C3, E5, D4. B flat 3, C4, B flat 3, A2, G1. A can either be 3 or 4, D1. Now remember, if you're doing the guitar strums, that's going to change all that too. B flat 3, C4, B flat 3, A2, G1. A can be 3 or 4, D1. Third line, G3, A4, G3. F2, A4, check mark. A1, B flat 2, C3. Just copy what you did on the first line. A1, C3. E5, D4. If you're doing the oohs, use whatever fingers you got. B flat 3, C4, B flat 3, A2, G1. And if you're doing the extra notes, it's going to be your upper fingers. They're going to have to grab those. The A can either be 3 or 4, and the low D is a 1. Second page, B flat 3, C4, B flat 3, A2, G1. A can be 3 or 4, low D 1. G3, A4, G3, F2, E1, G3, A2. Now, I'm sorry, that's an F. If you're going to play the extra notes, you might want to make that F a 1. Put your thumb on it so that your other fingers can play this C, C, D, 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 C. All right, let's go to people say. G3, 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 F2, A4, 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 F2, G3, 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 F2, A4. This is the easiest part of the song. After that 3 count A, put a check mark. The A quarter note at the end of the line, make it a 1. B2, 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 B2. C3, 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 C3. D4, D4, D4. C3, D4, E5. A1, B flat 2, C3. A1, C3, E5, D4. B flat 3, we're on page 3 now. B flat 3, C4, B flat 3, A2, G1. The A can either be 3 or 4. The low D is a 1. B flat 3, C4, B flat 3, A2, G1. The A can either be 3 or 4. The low D is a 1. See the pattern? Once you get one section, it all repeats. G3, A4, G3, F2, E1, G3, F2. Or if you're going to play those extra notes, you and I will fall in love, make that F a 1 so that you have your other fingers free to reach up here and play those notes. All right, line 3. A1, B flat 2, C3, A1, C3, E5, D4. B flat 3, C4, B flat 3, A2, G1. A4, D1. Uh-oh.
Bless you.
B flat 3, C4, B flat 3, A2, G1. A can be 3 or 4, low D1. And the last line, we're way over time, guys. G4, I'm sorry, G3, A4, G3, F2, E1, G3, F2. All right.
Dawn,
Yeah.
real fast. The C3, C3D, are they the lower CE or the upper?
Upper. Yep.
Okay,
So
just making sure. That's what I've got.
they're right where you are.
Well, I'm doing the D first with my
Yes.
thumb.
You got to do the D first on a 4.
Right. And
the
then I'm
fingers you
going to
have
reach.
free are going to be 3, 5, 3, 5, 4.
Got it. They're the upper. Good.
Okay.
Thank you. Yep. Not
So
sure
it's
when
right,
I'll
it's
see you.
right where you are. Because if you had to
Mhm.
play it in a different spot, your fingers would not be long enough to stretch when you got to play those notes together.
Okay.
Okay? That was the
We'll
best
see.
I could do, guys, because my fingers are not long enough. If it was Marco, he'd probably put his thumb down here and play them all down here. Whoops. My fingers are not long enough to do that. All right.
Yes, Dawn.
Thank you. Thank you so much for being here today.
All right. Be
Thank you.
safe, everyone.
I drove 9
Absolutely.
hours yesterday, Dawn.
Pardon?
I drove 9 hours yesterday, left
Oh my
from
God, Barbara.
Tennessee. 9 hours from the villages to Tennessee, and then about 8.5 hours yesterday.
Oh
So
my Lord.
my granddaughter, Melissa, came with me. We spelled each other, and so it's
Wow.
good. I'm here now but I'm so glad I can get this on my iPad. So
Wow. Oh my God. Wow.
looking at
Hey,
myself, and I
hey,
got
Tennessee.
the iPad on the couch, and I'm like, okay, but I'm getting the room fixed up. I'll do it better. Thank you so much. I'm so glad we could do this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Barbara,
Technology is
you
a good
did 9
thing.
hours and you did Tennessee in 9 hours, Barbara?
Yeah, I went to Manchester,
You got a heavy
Tennessee.
foot.
Well,
You got a heavy,
yeah, we got there in 9 hours. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. And then
takes me 12.
hours from Manchester, Tennessee to Joliet, Illinois.
Wow.
So
Oh.
I don't even remember putting my head on the pillow last night. I just closed.
Just
I was
passed
sitting-
out, right?
I was sitting on the side of my bed, and I'm like, okay, pick up your feet, lay down. Oh my gosh. But I got it. I'm here, and I thought I can't miss my lesson on Monday.
Oh, you are
I
so
want
cute.
this song. I want this song. So thank you. I've got my little keyboard here. So
Very cool.
it leaves a lot to be desired, but at least I can practice a little bit.
When are you coming
you.
home?
November the 8th.
Okay. All right. You're
Yeah.
going to be gone for a while.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'll be seeing you on Zoom. So thank you so
Okay. Okay. Very cool.
thank you.
Bye. Safe.
You guys are
Thank-
awesome. Thank you.
safe,
Inez, stay
buddy.
safe. You're the one that's closest to this thing. So,
Yep.
yeah.
Yes, so be safe.